Ladies and gentlemen, mina damer och herrar, som vi säger på svenska, för de svenskarna som är här idag. Heja Sverige! It is really great to be here. It looks like all of you have managed to get out of your pajamas, your thinking caps. They look very, very well positioned on top of you, and you're ready to go because you're going to need to have a mental battle through this particular session. I'm excited about it. Who am I? That's so excited. My name is Theophilus van Rensburg-Lundster. And no, sir, it's not a disease to be cured of or a COVID variant, nothing like that. I am in education. And at one point, I'll tell you exactly what the connection is that drives me to be at GreenTech, for instance. We can take that over a cup of coffee at another time. But for today, with all technology that's happening, I think it's important for us to be clear about what works and what does not work. And a blend of participants here today will give you a very, very good taste. On this stage, there's passion, there's youthful insight, and there's wisdom. And we'll get to the wisdom part right at the end, and it's a powerful position because it sort of will capture this whole question about will autonomous growing be our demise, or will it bring prosperity for those who are profit-seeking and meaning to those who are purpose-seeking? In the 90s, 3 books influenced thinking quite a lot, and I don't know if you ever touched on these works. I would recommend it. Jeremy Rifkin wrote a book called The Decline of Work. William Bridges wrote a work called Job Shift. And Charles Handy wrote a book called The Age of Unreason. And there was one string that was parallel through all of their works. And it was the fact that things are going to change so much that the folks who have 2 basic approaches to life will make it. Agriculture was touched on by Jeremy Rifkin quite a lot. The 2 elements was a love for new technologies. And the other one was strong, solid trust relationships. Maybe in some way we'll see some of that thread in through the discussions today. If you have a question, and we really hope you do, we would like you to keep that for right at the end. And so without further ado, Dirk,
yes,
could you please bless us with your presence, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh. Some part of the technology
Yes, sir.
dropped, but that will not interrupt my story. Welcome all. My name is Dirk Prins. I work now, as a short introduction, I only have 10 minutes. I work now 33 years with full passion for Priva. And we're on some ready for new steps. And that's what I hope to fulfill with still the same passion. And I have a lot of passion because there's a lot of new opportunities for the future. Small introduction for the guys or the people that don't know Priva. This is what we do. There's a schematic of a greenhouse. We're worldwide market leader. We have a lot of experience in this horticulture. A lot of projects realized. We are famous what we do is in our integrated solutions, so to combine climate, irrigation, energy, water management, all types of greenhouses, also vertical farms. And we always have a local partner nearby. And we also, because it's also about knowledge sharing, we have a platform that's called the Priva Academy to share knowledge, to do training at any time, at the time that you want. We as Priva are convinced that controlled environment agriculture will bring solutions for the important challenges that we're facing in this world. And the challenges in the world, and this is an open door, we have growing world population. And there's a more middle class that's willing to pay wants more healthy living. That's not only the living, but also healthy food. And that healthy food is our business. So that's where Daaf comes in to produce that healthy food. But in the same time, for the demand of healthy food, we're facing climate change, so extra challenges. But also we're facing water scarcity, and we're in the middle of an energy transition. And there's an extra challenge for our business, is that we don't have enough people to do it. Like once, and I don't want to bring it negative, once an experienced grower told to me, you need to have worked for more than 10,000 hours to be an experienced grower. And at this moment, we build greenhouses in a faster way. And it's not only the growers, it's also in the suppliers, technical people, doing the scouting, all kinds of things. And that's an extra challenge for our business. If that button works. And we believe that new technologies hold the key for the solutions for our business in the future. So it's not a threat. No, these are chances. These are chances to solve the issues. And that comes with cloud technology, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence. Lotte will come on to this. Our vision is, for this market, is towards predictive cultivation. Because if the business is predictive, you will have a profitable. We can talk about that everything needs to be sustainable. At the end, it still needs to be profitable. So it's all, the vision is towards the predictive, and okay, which developments we will do to achieve this predictive cultivation. And again, back to that page, how do we scale it from over here? Because to see in this last 30 years, as we set up this business, look around over here, what's going on. Go to a customer, go to a greenhouse. It's fantastic what is happening over there, but there's more demand. And how can we scale to the next steps? And also with those challenges. So if you look at the current span of control of a grower, he's responsible for a lot. He gets the market demand, he needs to take care of the outside weather, inside weather, climate, labor, talk to the technicians, talk to his labor manager, talk to the human that is responsible for the microclimate, doing the pest and disease, and making all kinds of decisions to control the climate. Is it about controlling the climate? It's about controlling the crop, controlling of their production. So where we come from is controlling that climate. That is that base. That still needs to be executed. So in a way, how do we use the new technology? It's okay, how to use cloud technology to make an interface in an easy way, which we can do, which we are doing with Source, which you can also do with other technology partners. At the end, it's about, okay, how do we make collaboration with multiple companies to deliver the solution that this business needs? And again, open collaboration, achieving profitable business, because that's the end. At the end, that's what we want, by predictive cultivation. And this is my small introduction, what we do with Priva. Hand over.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Lotte, thank you so very much.
Thank you. All right. My name is Lotte Adema. I'm a product manager at Source. We are an AI company helping growers scale with our AI solutions. We are a technology company based in Amsterdam. We reached the scale-up phase, being over 80 people by now from 25 nationalities, trying to get a lot of diverse perspectives into this sector. But of course, we don't need only a lot of diverse perspectives, we actually need a lot of insider information. So we spend a lot of time in the greenhouse. And why we do that is to reach our mission as Source. Why do we exist? And that is, we want to democratize access to fruit and vegetables to the world without breaking planetary boundaries. And Dirk touched upon it, but why do we actually need to do it? And if you let it really sink in, we need 50% more food by the time it's 2030. We are facing climate change, making it that open field farming is going to be 20% less yield for the same space it is using right now. And already today, agriculture is using 70% of all drinkable water we have available in the world. Not alone that 78% of all drinkable water pollution comes from agriculture. And so we wouldn't be here all today if we wouldn't know that actually one of the ways to face climate change and have a good food supply of fruit and vegetables is by the use of controlled environmental agriculture. But if this beautiful solution already exists, then the question is, why are we not doing this worldwide at massive scale yet? So this is actually the question that we had as Source and why we were founded. And so we were going to look into that. And there were three main reasons that we figured out there. And the first one is, well, this sector highly depends on the expertise of growers. We work together with some of the best growers that we have in the world. But humans being humans only work that many hours a day. Well, controlled environmental agriculture, the name already says it, you need to control it 24/7 a day. So we have some limitations by being human only. And then it also costs 10,000 hours to actually become an expert grower. Being an expert in a specific crop type at a specific location. So the second thing is, you are an expert grower now, but you're trying to scale and you go from the Netherlands to maybe another part of the world. And suddenly it takes 3 more years to actually learn how to grow there profitable. Or a new seed variety comes out that is highly resistant, but you need other growing strategies to actually cope with that. Again, it takes a lot of time, even for the best growers that we already have, to adapt to these new seed varieties, to new locations, and actually make the most yield out of your investment. And then lastly, a lot of new tech is entering the market, but every time a new sensor, a new actuator, yet another dashboard of another AI provider comes up, it gets exponentially, increasingly complex to read all this information and make your decisions based on everything that you have available. So this is where artificial intelligence comes in. Because if with AI we can actually crack how you should be growing, then we can actually help growers scale their solution to other seed varieties and other locations. But here, there is a question, and that is, if we can learn how to just grow, we should be able to scale it already to, for example, other locations right now. So this is where our vision comes in, that actually we shouldn't just learn to grow like growers, but we should actually crack the biology of a plant, understanding why growers grow like they do, to see on a plant level, biology level, what is actually happening, and make sure we catch that in our algorithms. So for example, what that means, one of our products I won't talk about today, actually looks at assimilates that are made in the plant, and then uses predictive power to see if the sugars go to the fruits, to the green parts of the plant. So if we understand on this level how a plant grows, it means we can just put it at another location in different circumstances and understand how the plant will behave there. So in this sense, AI will not replace growers, it's going to help growers scale. And I've entered this industry now about 1.5 years ago. I've heard a lot that autonomous growing is the growing of the future, but I really see it differently, and that is that the future needs autonomous growing to scale with the climate change we are actually facing. So then, what do I actually do on a day-to-day level? Together with my team that you see on the picture, we are working on autonomous irrigation strategies for the growers. So the biology of the plant that comes in here is that we don't look at just how the slabs behave, how it behaves here in the Netherlands, but we actually look at nature science and biology to figure out what the water uptake of the plant is going to be. Because if we know what the water uptake of the plant is going to be in different circumstances, we can apply different strategies with this knowledge, move it to other locations with different weather predictions. And then we are an AI company after all. We can also use weather predictions to then actually anticipate at the weather that is coming instead of only being responsive to the weather that came in. So for example, right now, it's very easy to trigger shots of water when a certain amount of sunlight came in. But obviously what you would really like to do is know what's going to happen in the day going forward and proactively adapt the execution of your strategy based on the weather prediction of the day that's going to come in. So how does that look in practice? So we work together with Priva. We're here together with Dirk. We have a project together, but also with the other climate computers, so Hogendoorn and Ridder. We get the data through there or directly from sensors. And we actually learn how to predict the water uptake of a particular plant in a particular greenhouse on exactly the plant age that we have at that moment. Then we go to the growers and ask them, what is the strategy you are actually trying to apply? Combining this information gives the perfect execution of the strategy based on the plant status and plant biology knowledge that we have. And to now really make the execution scalable, we also look at the weather predictions to anticipate on how the rest of the day is going to go. So this is where our models come in, and we now have a certain advice on how to execute the grower strategy. And now here is where the real fun part comes in, if you ask me. We don't only have this advice, but we can actually now write it back into the computer. So Priva, Hogendoorn and Ridder have all opened up their systems for us to actually write the set points and influences from the cloud to their computer from our base in Amsterdam. And this gives the super nice combination of having a hyper focus on irrigation, because this computer is busy 24/7 a day. So if every 5 or 10 minutes a new weather prediction comes in with a slight change, we don't change the grower strategy, but we adapt to new information coming in to every 15 minutes, update the best strategy, anticipating on how the rest of the day is going to be. So every 15 minutes, we actually write into the climate computers the perfect strategy. And this, while the grower now only has to check what strategy they would like to apply, which actually doesn't change so often over the season. So we have a hyper-focus executing the strategy, but the amount of time the grower is going to take it to actually implement it is diminishing to very little. So we already do this right now since the beginning of April in our pilot greenhouse that is of rainbow growers. Daaf will tell a little bit more about that. So since the beginning of April, we've been managing the irrigation strategy at a greenhouse, having the results of actually anticipating on the weather, having updated prediction until the last moment of the day. I'm super excited that we actually have this live in practice. We expect to go commercially live with this in half a year from now. But I think it makes a much higher impact to actually hear from the growers how it is to work with autonomous predictions, having it written in the climate computer, only having to watch it instead of touching it yourself. So I would like to invite Daaf and Theo to talk about on stage how it is to work together with Source and actually having autonomous predictions live in your greenhouse.
Great, thank you so much. Now, data can be scary, and I am sure that if you enter, wherever you are, if you're a grower, certainly you have some challenges. Conventionally, there are normal challenges with it anyway. But if you're going to solve a great deal of problems through automation,
Yep.
and the data that's fed back in that loop enables artificial intelligence to strengthens the grower to act more prudently. And the problem is, I mean, what worries you about that, or what challenges does that present for you as a grower?
First, I shall introduce myself a little bit.
Please do.
I'm one of the owners of Rainbow Growers. We grow a lot of peppers, fresh vegetables, and we are facing a time. We all know that growing is a job that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it doesn't suit in the future anymore that people make 70 hours a day. So we have to find solutions, and these solutions are there. That artificial intelligence take over a lot of decisions. So the jobs stays suitable for the environment we live, and I even think a computer can do it better, a lot better. A computer is 24 hours a day connected with the cloud, can get its information, and we are human with our human lives.
Yeah.
So we need that, and especially at the future water problems that we see, it's necessary that we are very mature about what we use, and which way we use, and if that can better, that solves our problem.
Right. And this tension between the human capacity and the technological ability was so beautifully captured in the previous conversation we had. Lotte, I don't know if you remember, but I wrote it down. You said, what we should really do is empower people to do the things computers are bad at, and we should use computers for the things computers are good at. I'm thinking especially for startups now. Any startups here? Or are there a good few startups? Growers? Investors? There's an investor. Everybody, it's in row 3. On my left, you're right. That tension demands, especially for the startups, a good amount of energy and, of course, resources as well. How would you advise does a startup deal with this new reality? That's going to expect quite a lot of input, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. We're still in a way to translate the growing into a computer, but it's going fast. I met Source 1.5 years ago, and the people who works there, they are at a higher level, at their how you call it, work.
High productivity.
No, but the with computers, with you see, we are from another age. We find it sometimes difficult. I met them, and they are experts on their way. So for everybody who wants to start, we are facing that. I have growers who I want to scale up, who I want to learn. Young growers are hard to find. But in the same way, you can invite artificial intelligence in your building, in your life. Because it's the same way if they, Lotte mentioned it before, take the water strategy. If they build it, you're part of it, and it works, everybody can make mistakes. Also, artificial intelligence shall make little mistakes.
Sure.
But I think artificial intelligence learns from the mistakes, maybe even faster than we do.
Right.
So it's coming. It's coming, and be part of it, close to it.
It means that you have a lot of trust in what they do at Source.
Yes.
Those algorithms, can one depend on them, or do you trust the algorithm?
I trust them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we all should be very simple. Everybody wants to go on holiday. Everybody takes place in a plane and go flies, and they don't see in the front that the pilot is putting one button, and he said it's automatic. It's the same. It's really the same. Only we have to manage in our heads that we can trust on it. And if you build it together and you see how they solve the problems, and really, if you see it at our nursery, they are there on place. If we have an important period that we test the things, then your trust grows in them, just like your trust would grow in the grower you are exploring your company.
That sounds close to what Jeremy Rifkin talked about, those building strong trust relationships in an ecosystem of technological advancement. Things will not stay the same. They've not stayed the same in the past. They've changed. They brought us here. If we look ahead, though, what are the kind of concerns or considerations you have? I mean, what's going to change down the line in the future?
I think Lotte and Dirk already mentioned it. The world population is growing very fast, and we need fresh food. So the expertise on this level to copy self-regulated companies which produce food with less water on a high scale level, it's necessary for the future, for our whole well-being. So it's necessary.
Yeah. Last year at GreenTech, Jim Pantaleo, is an American business developer, threw in a number where he said that at the moment, with a great deal of technological advancement in agriculture, he was faced with the question, will it put the grower in jeopardy down the line? He suggested that at the moment, his number was that between 1 and 1.5% of the food consumption demand currently is met by output from agricultural technology. If that is the case, what does it do for our thinking, do you imagine? If the number is correct, that at the moment 1.5% of what is needed in food, comes from your indoor farming or as a consequence of ag tech.
Really explain the question better for me.
Okay, so to make a case for controlled environment agriculture, he was suggesting that what stands a little bit in that way maybe at this time is the fact that there's such a small part of the world that's being fed currently by controlled environment agriculture solution. If that's the case, what would that do to our thinking, you imagine?
There we have a lot to do.
Exactly. I told you, wisdom sits in that corner. It's true. Yeah.
We have a lot to do.
Yeah.
And I think we are obliged to that, to our future, to everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm going to open up for questions, but before we do that, please give a big hand to Daaf.
Thank you.
Daaf, we can stay seated like
Yes,
this.
yes.
Yeah.
I'll put a little bit. Then you
There's
see.
a microphone around ready for you to blurt out your question. So fire away. No elbowing and no hitting people in the side. That man's got a limited amount of ribs. Anyone? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Alexander Zillinger from Symbiotic Food, and you talked about a lot of water consumption and how AI can help there. But how can an AI-powered system help with pest and disease control, for example? That's, yeah.
Very, very valid question. Thank you. Do you want to try it? Dirk, you want to give it a shot?
Pest and disease control, what is a pest and what is a disease? So there are a lot of pests and disease, and what is the way to deal with it? I think what can happen with AI, I think the combination AI and crop vision, especially the crop vision, recognize pest and disease spots in a very earlier stage. Yep. Earlier than the human eye can see, so that's already a benefit because then you can already treat it well. AI and technology can make faster interaction with the guys that knows that pest and disease, because if I would see a pest and disease, then the question is, if you see it, what to do about it. So that comes back to that knowledge, how to handle the pest and disease. Of course, there's no way, for example, that we can fight the brown virus, but as soon as you detect it, then there's the action that can be executed. With AI, you can detect it and automatically put in a task to do something.
And how far are you with your research
No,
concerning?
I'm not on the research for the pest and disease, so that's a different.
Yeah. Lotte, you wanted to add something. Sorry.
No.
So I think when it comes to this topic, there's other companies busy with, for example, if you take water samples, already seeing that you have viruses in there before your plants are actually symptomatic. So this could give an early sign that something is going to be wrong in your greenhouse, and then you can actually make compartmentalized samples to see where it is. So actually, this is not AI. This is just using tech because it's available where it wasn't before. So I think there are a lot of companies doing research to that, and I know Rijkswaan is busy with it as well. So maybe step by their stand.
Does that answer that question? Yeah. I would imagine in the loop back, when the data is available, it could then influence how one write new algorithms to basically detect pesticides and diseases. Likely.
Hello, thanks a lot. I'm Thomas Bless, and I'm a grower too. And I asked myself, you said a lot about scaling up, and if you get, or if there's possible to be given advice, maybe how to scale up, right, and where are the mistakes?
I think this question should be for Daaf.
I think on this moment, your place where you want to grow and when you want to explore more should be carefully taken, because in the future there should be something, a benefit from something. In every country you have places where the environment is alright or the energy level is alright. You need some advantage, opportunity to start there. If you already are on a place, I say look in the mirror. If I want to scale up am I in the right place or should I move? Because it's very important that we are later on a highway, and in the past, a grower has a lot of ingredients to make something. The costs were lower. Now we are pushed on a highway between rails, and we have a big amount of inputs that we can put in, and what can put out, and where is the profit. So that's very important to know that when you make such a decision. You also need people to manage. Don't forget, we need people. It's not possible to do everything with computers and robots, etc. That's also necessary. So you have also to think, if I scale up, how can I make my team okay? And do they want to live in this area? Do they want to stay? It's very complex.
I sometimes ask myself, for example, having like a group of maybe 50 people or something. So I mean, for example, will you have to be decentralized and maybe starting to add more and more, like maybe Lego or something, you know? You put something on something, and so to healthy growth in the end, instead of just trying to expand.
No. Copying is best. Copying is best.
Okay.
We also started like that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thanks.
Hello, my name is Eric, representing a Swedish vertical farm. We thank you for an interesting discussion to begin with, but we're talking a lot about trusting the algorithms, but I find one question very hard to define, and that would be, when do you know that you can trust the data that you put into the algorithms? So how do you define frequency, quality, resolution of the data needed to make a very kind of powerful algorithms to gain the right insights?
That's a brilliant question. Next question.
Well, I think we're all familiar with the concept garbage in is garbage out. So I think there is two approaches to this. And the first one is to actually see what is the data that is available, run your algorithms, define what you would consider success, and see if you can reach that definition with the data that is available. If you reach success with the data that is available, you have no problem. So don't try to fix something when it's not a problem. But then also check what are the sensors on the market, what is the quality of the data. And at Source, we actually also apply AI to clean up sensor data, for example, such that we actually have cleaner data going into our systems. But we choose for which sensors it's necessary to do this and for which sensors it's good enough as it is. So we fix broken systems, but the systems that are not broken, we just embrace them and work with them.
Yes. And one add-on to that as well is, in terms of amount of data as well, if you look into what would be called a macro sensor in the rooftop somewhere, collecting data from a large area, and then comparing that to maybe canopy area sensoring or much higher resolution of data points as well. What would be your perspectives on moving into that type of data collection, and when it makes sense, and the potential of unlocking more potential of a plant with the help of those algorithms, for example?
Well, my vision here is that I would highly encourage sensor companies to lower their prices and offer more sensors.
Yes.
I know it is possible, but also if we actually crack the biology of the plant using the sensor data, the pie that we have to share with everyone is going to be so much bigger that you can also sell so many more sensors if there actually is more controlled environment agriculture. So I would encourage sensors to not look at their business case for the status quo how it is, but really check that the world is changing. We have this climate change. We're going to be forced to use technology to do more controlled environment agriculture. So if you know that this is how the world is going to change, already make the sensors that we need to move there and adopt a business case to that.
Thank you very much.
Thank
And plus one, if there's a sensor supplier somewhere, just contact me after this.
Wow, that's good. Any more questions? In our discussions, one of the issues that came out, and Dirk, you highlighted in one of the slides where you said there's a need for technically skilled staff and growers. Now, this is a big issue, I think,
Yes.
because what you said there echoes the sentiment of a good amount of folks within advancement in agricultural technology. There's just not enough people to fill jobs. There's not enough skillful people, knowledgeable and skillful people to meet that need. How do you solve that problem?
Well, it's what also Lotte says. It's about empowering the growers, but it's also empowering your technical people. So with the technology of AI, you also can detect what needs attention. So it's all about, if you look at the greenhouses, we can make beautiful overviews of all the data, but still then the grower or someone needs to check, is this right or is it wrong? What needs improvement? So the same counts for example, if you're talking about sensors, yeah, if you're talking about analyzing the data, you can tell also, okay, this sensor is off because the conditions over there, then it's not okay that it tells, for example, it's 12 degrees over there. But that is very clear.
Yeah.
But if you're talking, for example, about registrations of water or drain or any kind of things, but also air treatment units, more technology in it. So the technicians also need help. Okay, what needs attention? Instead of, okay, and already give a clue, okay, you should look into this direction. Because also the technical guys bringing more technology on site.
Sure.
Cameras, yeah,
Yeah.
air treatment units, more robots, yeah, to do optimization, because I think energy and water is an issue, but the labor part, the total labor part is also an issue. But then more technology on it needs maintenance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Something you want to add to that, Daaf?
No, I think he words it perfectly.
Yeah. The demand on the knowledge and skills level within the space is increasing. And if you talk about technicians, I've just understood yesterday, and I was quite surprised that in Germany, for instance, the amount of technicians that are coming out of higher education has gone down.
yes,
Now, I only thought that was a disease in South Africa, but it seems like it's a European pain as well. So higher education is not kicking out, so to speak, the kind of knowledgeable and skillful workers. So one quick last word from all three of you on this particular issue. What should higher education do differently to produce or contribute to a knowledgeable and skillful worker to deal with the demands in ag tech? You wish.
Shall I start? I think this not only the task of the education, but also the task of the one who needs it.
Right.
And I think that they should be on a higher level with each other, what they need and what is need for the future, and make it pass in your both in the education, but both in our job.
Got it. So a blended model, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it's, I'm on the same line as Daaf. Is it the problem of the education? So how do we attract people?
Yeah.
So I already started my passion 33 years ago for this business, combining technique with living and producing plants.
Yeah.
And even with more technology, also what can we do for the world? So there's an extra part of it. So some people think if you go into agriculture, you get dirty hands.
Yep.
So is that it? Instead of seeing what you can do for this world, to produce safe food with less pesticide, using not that much water, just the right amount of water, and also do it with less energy, and have a healthy living. So,
Last word for you on that, Lotte?
I think we expect a lot from our teachers
Yeah.
and actually not educating them on, if they don't know how to program, how do we expect them to teach our youth how to do it? But in the end, I think our society is changing, where a lot of people from younger generations entering the job market do not want to work bullshit jobs for companies like Shell to make a lot of money, but they actually want to make an impact. And I think this sector should educate people on how important it is that we actually grow more food in a sustainable way, which will make it sexy to become a grower. And I think that is where we are heading.
Fantastic. What a good way to end. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Lotte, Dirk and Daaf, thank you for your time here as well.
Thank you.